Good day, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the show. Matthew Perry perished in his hot tub. And as far as the investigation goes, we don't know the cause of death. And we know he's been addicted to opiates. And there's a lot of conspiracy theory flying around there. And it's not based on what Alex thinks. It's not based on what Glenn thinks or what other things out there. It's according to Matthew Perry. I don't know if you guys are on Instagram. Glenn, I know you are on Instagram and you are Instagram junkie, and I had to take it away from you. Susan, Susan, have you followed Matthew Perry on Instagram?
No, I haven't. No.
It was a rhetorical question. I don't think you did. But I have his Instagram up right here, and I'm going to do some posts. It started about 2 weeks ago. So his 2 weeks ago post, he posted, "No need to worry, everybody. I've got the streets tonight." And if you're watching the show, this is basically a Batman. I don't know if it's not a poster or some kind of, he's watching some kind of streaming, and he's putting up a Batman stuff on his platform. So, but if you go to the next, again, is another Batman signature. "Sleep well, everybody. I've got the city tonight. MattMan." I don't know what that means. I mean, I'm not here to gossip. But, and again, the next one, WTF, Batman plays pickleball. What are the reference to Batman? Next one, "This is what I've had to eat today. I'm Batman." That was about 1 week ago. And those looks like some kind of berries or beans or olives. I don't know what that is. It looked like a female hand too. And then you had the Halloween. Again, do you know what I mean? No, we don't know what you mean, Matt Perry. And unfortunately, I don't know. We'll find out. And then, do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? I am MattMan. I don't know what you're trying to tell us, Matt. I don't know what you've been trying. I don't know what kind of crying for help he was. And then this is his final post about a week ago. "Oh, so warm water swirling around makes you feel good. I am MattMan." And why this is his last post? Because originally, official story was that he drowned, or they found him drowned in the in the hot tub. And that's the last Instagram post that he had. A lot of coincidences there. So I have no idea what this is all about, except I was able to dig up this video, and a lot of people saw this before. It's nothing new.
And you, by the way, this is an interesting thing I learned about you. I did not know this. The Prime Minister, the current Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, somebody you went to school with.
I did. I was a couple years ahead of him.
Okay, how old were you at this time?
5th grade, so whatever age you are in 5th grade.
Okay, and do you remember, 10 probably, do you remember him around school?
I do. I have a story about him that I'm not proud of.
What? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah.
I was reminded of this, my friend Chris Murray, who was also in the 5th grade in Canada, reminded me that we actually beat up Justin Trudeau.
You beat him up?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. I don't know.
The two of you beat him up?
We both beat him up.
Yeah, that's Matt Perry's greatest achievement. And our fearless leader, Justin Trudeau, had this to say about Matthew's passing. "Matthew Perry's passing is shocking and saddening. I'll never forget the schoolyard games we used to play, and I know people around the world are never going to forget the joy he brought them. Thanks for all the laughs, Matthew. You were loved, and you will be missed." And then there's a comment underneath that from a person, and that person asked, "Didn't he beat you up when you were like 8 years old?" Right? I don't know, brothers and sisters, if this is conspiracy you want to entertain or anything like this, but we know one thing. It goes back down to discipline. And we talk about this show all the time. If this gentleman, Matt, we know for a fact he was on drugs. He had a open public battle with drugs addiction. Now, it's not uncommon for Hollywood and for the performers, entertainers, and actors to be addicted to substances for a variety of reasons. Glenn, you think that we don't know? We're speculating about anything here, but why do you think, in your opinion, it's so prevalent in the entertainment industry?
Well, personally, my personal belief is to go at the top or be well known in the entertainment industry, you have to give up something. In other words, to get something, you have to give up something. And it's not what people think. It's hard work, perseverance, dedication, discipline. It's a little bit of that, but it's more of something nefarious, something more evil, so that you could be allowed into that sphere, that higher, so-called higher way of life, of prominence, materialism, being recognized, recognition. It seems to be manifesting in a lot of entertainers, people, whether it be in the music industry, the Hollywood, the films, CEOs of big corporations. For some reason, the higher up you go, the more that we think they have a great life, but in actuality, we're learning that their life is just misery on the planet.
And that goes especially for comedians, right? This is the people who entertain, right? And they live the stage to make other people laugh, but internally they are setting. I know personally a lot of comedians who are going through personal mental health battles.
Champ, what you could say is, when they get a lot of recognition, and then we hear about them having troubles with substance abuse, for example. You mean to tell me there's not a substance abuse problem with Mr. and Mrs. Average too? I mean, people in the gym, they're addicted to some type of drug, alcohol, cocaine, opiates, painkillers, opium, fentanyl. It seems like people gravitate towards the things that can take them out from their existence and life on the planet.
Suppress emotion.
Suppress emotion, but not only that, they're flirting with death. There seems to be this close call all the time. You're always near the edge. I've met a couple of people. They told me, one guy told me, he said, I tried to commit suicide 3 times. Straight face, I looked at him and I said, really? Like, what's so hard about your life? And you tried to commit suicide 3 times. Are you that stupid? You can't even kill yourself?
Or it's a cry for help.
Well, just don't do it, and just say, okay, I need a little bit of help. Accept it. That's all. When you look at the problems in your life from an average point of view, look at these people in Hollywood, for example. They apparently have the life. They have all the money. They live in beautiful places. They go on nice vacations. They don't worry about anything that Mr. and Mrs. Average have to worry about. They wear beautiful clothes. They're recognized everywhere. And yet, that's not good enough. What is good enough?
Well, here's the thing also. I mean, that's one aspect of why there's such an issue, particularly in Hollywood or any kind of performance-based industry. Because I've worked with professional athletes. I've worked with Hollywood actors, actresses, producers, whatever it is. And in that world, especially, I mean, Alex, you know all about it. There's a seediness, an underlying really dark side of Hollywood and any kind of the arts like that. So that is always manipulating the mindset within that industry. But what I've noticed also early on when I used to life coach quite a few of these actresses or spoken to these actresses that I've worked with is that they struggle with living the real life. They work day in and day out on scripts, on life or characters that's given to them to become in their job. So when they finish that role, they have to come back to who they are. But before they even breathe being who they are, they have to take another script and they have to become somebody else again. So that's why within the industry, there has to be a lot more support to help these people when they are off script to learn how to be themselves again. And that is, they don't have that support. And same thing with athletes I work with. They become very famous. They're very well known when they're on the courts, let's say basketball. So everybody loves them. But then when they're not performing for other people anymore, people don't care anymore. You see what I mean? So then we need a lot more life support nowadays, more than ever before, particularly in these industries like Hollywood, and where they're serving the greater good, they're serving humanity with all these beautiful roles that they play. And even like if you're a stuntman, even if you're not in the frontline role, it doesn't matter. It's like you're performing for other people, you're performing for something else. What happens when you come back into your own life? Who are you? It's almost like you're worth nothing, because what you were worth is that role you played.
But you could also say the same thing is happening in everywhere, because look at social media. People on Instagram, or they only post themselves going to fancy restaurants, getting in a fancy car, fancy clothes on, more fake up than makeup. Everything is virtual. And then behind the scenes, in reality, that person is broken. They can't rub two nickels together. They're going through such a hard time, and their whole purpose of living, their existence, is to make themselves feel better by doing the next presentation on Instagram or one of the social media sites. Look, I'm at this restaurant. Now I'm at on this guy's yacht. Now I'm at I'm at Ibiza now. And they are in debt through the yin yang, and they're stressed out.
But that's their choice to present their life in the way. But
It's
actors
always.
and actresses, it's their job. You see what I mean? They're given a script. I mean, they get to choose a movie, but they are given a script.
But do they really get to choose a movie? Because it's like, okay, if I'm an actor and actress, and I definitely wouldn't do certain movies. I definitely wouldn't take certain roles. But maybe I find myself in a position where, like, okay, if I don't take this role, I can't pay my mortgage, or I can't pay my children's private school, or maintain the lifestyle that I'm used to, or I got to maintain that lifestyle to show success, so I can, so I can continue to get the jobs, etc., etc. But I think you are making a good point in terms of, especially method actors. They do become that. Like, I had an experience. I'm not the greatest actor in the world, but I have, when I've learned from like Stanislavski's and Chekhov's methods and everything else. You're not there trying to pretend to be a character. You actually grab on to a quality, to emotion that you have inside of you. You are being yourself on camera, and you're actually portraying that emotion that you have experienced sometime in a previous life, and you're able to portray it. The problem is like a lot of us, not a problem, but the world we live in now actually propagates mental illness. But let's say if the actor has the resources, and they're like, okay, I'm going to go to yoga classes, I'm going to do meditation, self-help, psychologist, therapist, etc. If they actually do deal with the issues, that is actually harder for them to be a good actor on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Because they are no longer emotionally vulnerable.
Correct.
They're not that emotional roller coaster where they can switch like this when the 3, 2, 1 action, be sad, 3, 2, 1 action, be angry, 3, 2, 1. They're not just pretending to be that. They're actually recalling that emotion, and they're reliving it in the moment. And when people watch the show, sometimes you get tear-eyed or whatever. Well, I don't. Glenn doesn't, for sure. Glenn, you never have a tear in your eye when you watch a movie. I know.
Unless I'm cutting onions.
I'm going to make him cry. I'm going to get him to watch a movie.
Brothers and sisters, when you do get emotional, because it does look real, because it is. That actor in the moment reliving his childhood trauma, or his most recent breakup with his girlfriend, or some kind of other abandonment, whatever it is, so that's physically happening. And like what Susan said, there is absolutely zero interest in bringing those, caring for those actors. Like, I'm going to throw them under the bus. Amazon. I worked for Amazon for a year. I couldn't get a credit for the show. I had to go through the back channels and go through IMDb to get a credit. What kind of therapeutic help are you asking? There isn't. Like, you're right. So the actor should be smart enough to be able to sustain. And a lot of successful actors, method actors, they actually, if they're smart, they quit the job early. Or they only do like one movie every 2 years, so they're able to recollect themselves between the jobs. So it's not for everyday person. And also, like what Glenn is saying, the question we can ask you right now, brothers and sisters, let's say you find yourself in a certain position in life, and maybe you don't feel happy with yourself. Maybe you don't feel happy with your family life, your personal life, etc. What if you make $5 million tomorrow, right, Glenn? Would it make will that change things? It probably would right away. Would it be a temporary solution or long-term solution unless you address those internal issues that you have? Because chances are, if you don't address the internal issues, you're probably going to run out of money sooner or later, and then you're going to end up with the same story.
Well, that's why a lot of actresses that I have worked with, what happened is that their finances were not well taken care of either. So because they don't have any financial literacy, so they're depending on people they hire, managers and so on. There's so much corruption within that whole industry that their money is not even being taken care of in the right way. So they don't have any means of even understanding. So by that time, their money is siphoned off. And so it like financial literacy, business literacy is really important to be taught within that industry anyway. So there are so many reasons, but it is an occupational hazard. To be a good actor, method actor, you have to be so malleable. You cannot have your own thoughts and everything because you become somebody else. So yeah, it's a little bit of a tricky thing.
And then the industry, to be fair, is surrounded, like you said, it's a good point. You're surrounded by people who actually want you to be vulnerable. They want you to be dependent on drugs because they want to control you. They want to compromise you in certain ways because they want to continue to. That's how people make money off you. They'll sell you drugs, they'll sell you other things and everything else. They maintain your party lifestyle because somehow they're benefiting from that as well. So yes, Hollywood, it's not just about. The whole thing is not a really healthy environment. I'm not saying there are no good people in Hollywood at all. No, there's plenty of good, kind, righteous, and even religious people in the Hollywood or in the movie industry in general. But as general as a rule, it's not a healthy environment, and I've seen it firsthand. Plus, it's owned by companies like BlackRock and Vanguard and State Street, and what they think about force and behavior, and they're the ones who propagate the mental illness. All this. If you want to be in the movies right now, specifically in Canada, it's impossible to actually have let's say me and Glenn will write a script, and it's movies expensive, especially if you want to shoot it the right way using the union. You have to do union rates. It's going to cost arm and a leg. So. But there's money available, federal money, province money, entertainment money, in form of grants. We're going to go get a grant. Nobody's going to give you a mean grant unless we write in transsexual Inuit person in the wheelchair in the script somehow. And that's what I'm talking about. It's not a healthy environment. They're propagating this sort of, theme where it's not promoting health. It's not promoting family. It's not promoting tradition. It's promoting destruction. And that's what sells, right? Controversy, conflict, death, horror, sex. That's why porn industry is so prevalent right now, which is also being replaced by AI, by the way.
Well, this is why, going back to MattMan Perry and so many like him, where they can't cope with life. And it all affects our ability to cope. And so when we can't cope, we have to numb, because that inability to cope is so dark, right? So we have to numb. That's just human nature. So, I mean, we just have to be aware that these people need a lot more support than, it's easy to say that, yeah, they just snap out of it, make the right choices. But in that industry in Hollywood, you're not taught to make the right choices. That's the whole point about it, that you are controlled. So making decisions is really key. But here's the thing. Here's a question. And this is an interesting perspective, because look at the actors and actresses that are successful in life and their job. They all have happy marriages or relationships. Think about it, right? Look at all those actors and actresses that are healthy. They are all married in long-term relationships.
So you talk about value and tradition. So it's not about modern man, modern women. It's about people that maintaining traditional values.
They're sharing their life with somebody. They're not alone.
Okay. Keanu Reeves would not be a good example that Keanu Reeves lost his family in a tragic incident, but he still found sanity. He didn't go crazy. You don't hear many negative things about Keanu Reeves in any way. But now we're playing gossip, and Glenn doesn't like to do that. Glenn, any last words?
No, well, come on. If Hollywood, like, just about anybody can act. You can become a ham. You just learn to let it go and just be whatever they want you to be. But if Hollywood had came to me and said, we want you to play a transgender, I'd have to give him the G-Man look. Not going to happen.
Not any amount of money, right? And I've seen this left and right. And I Hollywood, if you want to come hire me as transgender, $10 million, you got me. Glenn, I will give you $1 million. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll do it for $5. How about that?
You'll do it
as
for
long
$5.
as I don't have to have the
But that's
operation.
the point.
we're fine.
I think I will not. I know I will not do it. I've made a point. I'm not going to compromise my values.
Don't
for
sell
somebody.
your soul,
Yeah,
brother.
Yeah,
And a lot of people at the top in Hollywood, that's why they're addicted to drugs and everything, because to get promoted, they had to sell their soul. And this is the results of people selling their soul. They can't live with themselves, and they take themselves out.
So the lesson here, brothers and sisters, don't sell your soul. Don't sell your soul. Stay true to yourself. Stay true to your values. Stay true to your life, and stay true to your family. That's the point. Like you will get corrupted if you are married, if you're in a relationship, and you're in Hollywood. There's a lot of temptation. There's a lot of temptations. There's a lot of tension. There's drugs. There's groupies, both men and women, and all kinds of gender fluid stuff going on. So go to church. Go to church, go to library, get off Instagram, stop watching YouTube and TikToks and all that stuff. Go for a walk, go to the gym, exercise, read a Bible. That's my 2 cents. Susan, Glenn, thank you so much for your input. Brothers and sisters, we'll see you on the next one. Glenn, we make a community worse for everyone.